Bailey, my daughter, was inspired because someone at her church camp had shared with her how they had helped rebuild houses in Joplin, and she was so moved by that story. And of course, all the girls had witnessed on TV the devastation that Joplin had experienced.
I'd wanted to help people, and so it seemed like the right time to do it.
She said I wanted to collect canned food for the Joplin relief. I said, okay, well, what are we going to do? How big do we want this to be?
I asked my church if we could start a canned food drive, and I told them about the tornado that hit Joplin. And so I told them that it was my Girl Scout troop, and we were trying to collect food for Joplin, and even one person donated $1,000.
Seeing all this food fit into one room, it kind of surprised me how much space it took up. It was like taller than me.
Everybody joined in the night before we went to Joplin. We had all the cans together, and then the following day we took them to Joplin.
We went into Joplin and I looked around and it was destroyed everywhere, and there was spray paint on houses saying this needs to be built or so-and-so is building this house. And I remember thinking this had been 3 months or so after the tornado, and so most of the big destruction had been gone, and thinking how much it was still completely ruined.
At the end, when we finished it, it felt good to deliver like over 4,000 cans.
The girls talked about how good it felt to help someone else.
Helping others makes me feel good. It gives you this feeling that all you want to do is smile.
You know, without Girl Scouts, I never would have done. We went to Joplin and we saw what a tornado can do, and we helped out with it, and it really does feel good to do stuff and go places.
The girls at 1704 inspire me because they have a lot of enthusiasm to help someone else. And when they have that kind of energy, it kind of bubbles over into this excitement, and it makes everyone want to participate and to join.
Well, I'm a single parent. I've never been married, and I have 2 girls. I've kind of raised them on my own. I've been kind of living on my own since I was a young girl, and kind of just took some paths that weren't the right ones and ended myself in prison. My charges were possession of marijuana with intent to sell, which I was sentenced to 46 months incarceration and 36 months parole.
I was about 4 years old when she went to prison, and Summer was like 2.5. I was really confused, and I wondered what's going on, why are they taking her, when is she coming back, why is this happening to us?
I was incarcerated. I got sentenced to 18 months on a sales case, and I thought it was going to be difficult with interacting with my kids. And somebody told me about the Beyond Bars program with Girl Scouts.
When you're incarcerated and you're in prison, it's the lowest place you go in this society. And you kind of feel helpless, you kind of feel hopeless, and you kind of feel like you don't have a voice or a word.
I just was so mad, and I was so upset that she just left because I felt like she didn't care. And then I just started turning my chair around a little bit more every time and like being more social with her.
It's one thing to write a letter and to pick up a phone. It's another thing to actually physically get to see your children and hug your children.
Also, it was something that gave me a reason to act like I had some sense in prison.
I started talking more to my mom about how I feel.
I've learned so much about my mom that if I haven't been in Girl Scouts, I probably wouldn't know to this day.
You never know the feeling of somebody caring when you're in such a low place, you know, and I'm forever in debt for that.
Without Beyond Bars, without the Girl Scout program, we wouldn't be where we're at now.
It's just a really amazing program.
Any group that will empower and build you up and make you feel like you're somebody in your lowest point, I definitely am proud to be a part of Girl Scouts, and I always will be.
Girl Scouts has shown me that you can do whatever you want, and just because you're a girl, that doesn't make a difference.
Courtney joined Girl Scouts in 1st grade. I would say after the first time she went to camp for 2 weeks by herself, with none of her friends and without us, she came home and stepped off that airplane, and we kind of looked at each other like, wow, she's a different kid.
Yeah, not the same kid she was.
It was what you would think of when you think of a basic Girl Scout camp.
And I think she figured out pretty quickly that Destinations was a way to see some of these countries that she wasn't going to be able to go other ways.
Girl Scouts Destinations is a really cool program, and you can travel either internationally or in the US.
I think it's important for her to do them because it's who she is.
My first destination that I went on was to Peru, and when we got to the village that we were going to work with, we were just flooded with all the people that we were going to help. And seeing them and realizing that there's so many things that you could do. There's something about traveling that's just so empowering because you can see a totally different culture, and by seeing a different culture, you learn so much about your own culture.
As she saw more of the world, her eyes became more open and she became more curious and more open-minded.
India was like my first community service, just even more. There we did a project where we would go into the slums every day and we would work with girls for most of the day. And what really shocked me about that was the fact that they have so little, but all the girls there were even more happy than some of my friends I have at home. Helping others, especially on those trips, really makes me feel like I can do something.
I'm proud of you most because the way you live your life, you make me a better person.
I would say to parents, just please give your girls the chance to go on destinations. Because even though it seems really scary to let your daughter go off to a foreign country, the things that she can get out of it is amazing. It seems so cliche to say that I'm a different person because of destinations, but it's really true.